Some places are built to house dreams, to provide sanctuary amidst the chaos of a bustling city. But what if those dreams turn to nightmares, and the sanctuary becomes a cage of terror? This is the Blackwood Apartments in New York City, a seemingly ordinary residential building nestled in a vibrant neighborhood. From the outside, it projects classic urban charm, its brick facade and fire escapes hinting at countless stories within. But behind its familiar windows and locked doors lies a horrifying truth. It is a hotbed of relentless paranormal activity, where the past echoes in every hallway, every apartment, and every silent scream. Years ago, the Blackwood Apartments were constructed with ambitious plans designed to be a modern marvel of urban living. However, its history was tragically marred during its very construction. Local whispers speak of a devastating, unpublicized accident where several construction workers were buried alive in a collapsed section of the foundation, their pleas unheard, their bodies never fully recovered. Later, the building became notorious for a series of unexplained tenant tragedies, sudden disappearances, isolated suicides shrouded in mystery, and violent deaths dismissed as isolated incidents. Though investigations were often inconclusive, strange occurrences plagued the building from its earliest days. Residents reported cold spots moving through apartments, disembodied whispers from empty rooms, phantom elevator movements, and personal items vanishing only to reappear in impossible places. Subsequent tenants, lured by the promise of city living, often reported terrifying apparitions and aggressive physical assaults. Driven by fear, constant disruption, and a chilling pattern of residents abruptly breaking leases, the building management eventually found it increasingly difficult to fill units. Our paranormal investigation team, drawn by the building's grim history and the chilling tales from frightened tenants, ventured into its seemingly mundane units, hoping to uncover the truth behind the Blackwood Apartments' haunting. The team, comprising a lead investigator specializing in multi-unit hauntings, a highly sensitive medium connecting with residual fear, and a technical specialist, began their setup after securing access to several vacant, highly active units, starting on the lower floors. The building's typically vibrant atmosphere was now unsettlingly silent, its urban comfort replaced by an oppressive stillness. The air inside the empty apartments was immediately heavy, thick with the stale scent of old plaster, dust, and a palpable tension, almost electric. Their high-tech gear, advanced thermal cameras, highly sensitive EVP recorders, precise EMF detectors, and the spirit box, was meticulously prepared, every battery checked, every lens polished. Every cautious step on the worn hardwood floors and through the narrow doorways echoed loudly through the unnaturally quiet space, amplifying the profound stillness. The oppressive weight of countless lives lived, learned, and tragically ended within these walls pressed down on them. Dust motes danced in their flashlight beams, creating a disorienting haze, and the feeling of being watched was instantaneous and pervasive, as if countless unseen eyes peered from every darkened closet and behind every closed door. Within moments of stepping into the first vacant unit on the second floor, previously occupied by a tenant who fled abruptly, the building began to make its chilling presence known, not with a bang, but with insidious, unsettling phenomena. Disembodied whispers, faint as a breath, seemed to caress their ears from the empty bedroom, too indistinct to form clear words, but undeniably present, like forgotten pleas or malicious taunts from a former occupant. One investigator felt a distinct, sudden cold spot pass directly through them, an icy shock that made them gasp, the temperature dropping several degrees instantly, despite the building's ambient temperature. Then, a sharp, rhythmic tapping sound began emanating from within the walls of the adjacent bathroom, precise and deliberate, like fingers drumming impatiently from behind the tiles, slowly growing louder and more insistent before abruptly ceasing, leaving behind a chilling quiet that felt even heavier than before. The water faucet in the sink dripped once, slowly, without explanation. As the team moved to the higher floors, specifically targeting units with the most intense historical reports, the activity intensified, becoming more pronounced and alarming. The narrow hallways and stairwells felt claustrophobic, their echoes amplifying every sound. EMF detectors began to spike erratically near old ventilation shafts and seemingly solid walls, their lights flashing red, indicating intense, anomalous energy fluctuations that defied natural explanation. In a former tenant's kitchen on the 5th floor, a heavy ceramic plate, left securely on a counter, slowly, deliberately began to slide across the polished countertop on its own, its clattering muffled, before stopping at the very edge of the counter, almost falling to the floor. No discernible vibration or structural shift was present. This was a chilling display of unseen, calculated force, a direct interaction with an everyday household item. The medium, a vital and sensitive part of the team, began to experience profound shifts in emotion, describing overwhelming feelings of intense claustrophobia, desperate panic, and profound despair emanating directly from a particular small utility closet. They felt the overwhelming terror of being trapped, the echoes of frantic screams, and the despair of a life cut short. As they directed questions towards the empty space, the spirit box in the main living area erupted with fragmented voices and garbled sounds. Amidst the static, clear, undeniable words emerged, spoken in a terrified, choked voice, followed by a terrifying, guttural scream that seemed to tear through the very air, raw and primal, causing everyone to recoil in horror. It was a scream of pure, unadulterated agony and terror, echoing a moment of brutal confinement or suffocation, perhaps connected to the building's dark construction past. The medium clutched their head, overwhelmed by the psychic imprint of this devastating event. The peak of the night's terror occurred in the small, cramped laundry room in the building's basement, a place where mundane tasks should unfold, but where the air hung heavy with residual despair. This specific area was infamous for strange noises and feelings of dread reported by maintenance staff. The air here was thick with almost a suffocating dread and reeked intensely of mildew, damp concrete, and a faint acrid smell that hinted at old blood and iron. As the team meticulously set up their specialized equipment, a distinct, heavy, rasping breathing sound began to emanate from behind an old industrial washing machine. Not human, but an echoing, labored sound, as if something monstrous or severely wounded was trapped. Then, one of the thermal cameras, designed to detect heat signatures, picked up an undeniable anomaly. A human-sized heat signature, clear and distinct against the freezing cold background, briefly appeared near the large water pipes, distorted and menacing, standing for a few seconds before dissipating into nothingness. It was an unmistakable apparition, a spectral figure caught on thermal imaging, providing visual confirmation of an unseen presence trying to guard its domain. Then, without warning, a sudden, powerful push sent one of the investigators stumbling backward violently, losing their footing. Their camera clattered to the ground, still recording the chaotic scene. They cried out in surprise and fear, immediately describing unseen hands grabbing at their legs, a terrifying sensation of being pulled or dragged across the grimy concrete floor. When they managed to scramble back up, distinct marks appeared on their arms and legs, red and stark against their skin, consistent with intense pressure or grasping, like the raw imprints of spectral fingers. Panic began to set in among the entire team, their professional calm fracturing under the relentless assault. The spirit box, now a cacophony of distorted whispers and frantic pleas, seemed to be screaming, a horrifying chorus of tormented voices rising to an unbearable crescendo, an unbearable cacophony of agony and rage that threatened to drive them mad. The room temperature plummeted even further, dropping to freezing point, and the sickening smell of dampness, decay, and something indescribably foul, like old bodily fluids and putrefaction, intensified, becoming so thick and pervasive it made breathing difficult, threatening to choke them. It became terrifyingly clear. Whatever entities remained within the Blackwood apartments were not merely lingering echoes of past despair. They were active, aggressive, and deeply, profoundly disturbed. They were sentient beings, aware of the living intruders, and they reacted with pure, unadulterated hostility born from unimaginable pain and enduring rage. This seemingly ordinary apartment building was indeed cursed, its very foundations imbued with malevolence. The team, overwhelmed by the sheer intensity and undeniable malevolence, made the immediate and critical call to evacuate. There was no discussion, only an urgent shared understanding that their safety and sanity were in grave peril. They quickly gathered their most essential equipment, leaving other less vital items behind in their desperate haste to escape the oppressive energy that now consumed the basement. They rushed out into the cold New York City night, the chilling sounds of the building fading behind them, yet indelibly imprinted on their minds. The physical exhaustion was immense, but the psychological toll was even greater, leaving them shaken to their core with the phantom screams of a lost past still echoing in their ears. The Blackwood Apartments stands today, a silent, imposing monument to a dark and brutal past. Its occupied units and empty corridors still echo with torment. Its secrets are very much alive, clinging to its cold pipes and crumbling plaster. Local whispers of strange occurrences and unexplained events persist among residents and former tenants, confirming the team's terrifying encounters. What truly unleashed such malevolence? Is it the spirits of the buried construction workers, seeking vengeance for their forgotten deaths, or darker entities drawn by the immense suffering of past residents? Who or what still haunts its endless floors, inflicting fear and vengeance on any who dare to call it home? The questions remain, haunting and unanswered. The curse of this place has not ended. This investigation leaves us with a profound sense of unease, a chilling realization that even our most mundane, everyday living spaces can harbor unspeakable horrors, their dark pasts forever sealed within their confines, guarding the tormented souls they contain. If this descent into the chilling reality of the Blackwood Apartments sent shivers down your spine, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more chilling investigations. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next journey into the unknown. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe truly haunts the Blackwood Apartments in NYC? Until next time, stay vigilant and beware what might be lurking behind your neighbor's door.